Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you might happen to be, and welcome to the second episode, actually, of Pomelo Pitch Deck. This is a little show that we spun up over at Gener EOS to try to, support everything that the Pinello guys are doing over there with the grant system and try to help get the word out there. There's a lot of buzz and hype in the space, especially around funding. And in no small part, that has something to do with Pomelo. So again, if you haven't watched the roundtable that I was on the Crypto Writer channel a couple of days ago, please go and do that. We talk a little bit about EOS funding. Also, a couple of days ago, we had Daniel Keys, who is from EOS Nation, on our channel here to give us an outlay of what's going on with Pomelo. Today, I'm excited because new people for me, a new project for me, but definitely a project that a lot of people are following once I dug in. We have Chang and Corbin on the line from Liquid, I guess.
Yes.
And you guys are going to tell us about your proposal, which I'm kind of excited about, if I'm honest, because it's looking into play to earn. It's looking into a bunch of different aspects with gaming and things like that. And, as many of you know, we have a little metaverse with another project that I'm associated with called the Uplift World. So I'm always excited to meet other people in here and see what they're doing and see how, together we can expand the space. So why don't you guys give us a little bit of an introduction? Who are you guys? What is Liquid? And then we'll dive into the proposal.
Okay. Well, I'm Chan, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of Liquid.
Yeah, I'm Corvin, and I'm CTO and co-founder of Liquid.
And we build at Liquid games, SDKs. We consult. We're knee deep in this space, and we've been here for quite some time. Corvin is quite well known. He's been in the space. We call him the Walt Disney of our vision. He's the happiest place on earth if you love tech. So all that, Corvin, explain a little bit more about how involved and how we met, actually.
Yeah, Jen and me met in 2018 on the EOS.io hackathon in London. And since then, we both became a part of this community, and this community is like our family. We are not that well known because we are more connected to, on my side, to developers. I'm, for example, a moderator on EOS.io Stack Exchange, which probably every developer knows. We are not so far over the past. We haven't been like this kind of public person, but for sure we always have been here. And we always have been on the educational side. As you can see, we already kind of educated at the EOS.io hackathon 3.5 years ago. As well as on EOS.io Stack Exchange, and this is really one of our goals. It's on one side for sure building our own games, next level games on EOS.io, but in addition, we want to educate others, and we want to transfer the knowledge that we gained over the last years to any developer out there which wants to work in the decentralized gaming space.
Exactly.
And that's what we already do with our upcoming game, Liquid Universe. We already solved and are solving many of the problems that traditional game developers or normal game developers will have when they want to use EOS.io for the games. And we want to educate them. We want to transfer this knowledge. We've built a small portfolio of plugins, starting with Diffuse GraphQL, Atomic Assets, Hyperion, whatever. We took over EOS Sharp from the guys from Scatter. Shout out to Mario, who developed it initially, but they are not maintaining it, so we took it over. We want to continue to do so. And in addition, we want to take all these plugins, all the knowledge we have, and put them into a single source of content, full of educational content, examples, how to use these SDKs and plugins, information about structures, patterns, architectural stuff that we learned over the last 1.5 years work best, that enable developers to really build seamless user experiences. But also on the smart contract side, there are many things that we do where we believe we are really the first doing this kind of thing on blockchain. And also, when it comes to these things, we want to educate others and help anyone out there to do the same. And we believe that way we can bring the masses to EOS.io and especially EOS. With every traditional game developer, they probably have a small follower base. They already have players playing their games. They are already monetizing their games. Players are already paying for assets on a
Exactly.
daily basis, and they don't care about bull or bear markets. So we believe the gaming space on blockchain, decentralized gaming space.
I mean,
could be
most of them,
very-
most of them don't even care about making money. They just care about playing the game. A lot of
game,
people in the
yeah.
traditional gaming world are spending thousands of dollars a year just
Yes.
to play these games, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm with you
And
there.
from all ages, like kids to
Yeah.
senior citizens, like it doesn't matter. And so like blockchain and the way Liquid Universe is designed, it's meant to be adopted. And so if you're playing it, you have an ownership of it, which I know that both of you are familiar with that. And we want it to create like more traction that way. And so we can explore in this game, they can build off of it and, bring in more thought leaders into the space. Are we able to
Yeah.
share the screen so we can show you the game we're talking about? Is that possible?
Can I share?
Yeah, you guys can share. That's sure. There's a
Okay.
little box down below if you want to do that. No problem.
So while
Yeah.
Corbin's doing that, we built this game in Unity on purpose, and we've been building some strong partnerships. So it can really build a bridge between blockchain and the traditional ecosystem of gaming. So like we built in Unity for the very reason like they have like 80% of the games are built in Unity, 2.7 billion monthly active users are on the content, and we believe it's the bridge to like a real metaverse that's owned by us, and controlled by the people who play. Okay, so
Yeah.
this is Liquid Universe. I'll let Corbin
Can
take
you
it
see
away.
my screen now?
Yeah.
Yep.
You
That's
can,
great.
right? Okay, it starts with simple things like this login is already going through chain. Okay, let me start with these planets. As I just said, we're doing things that no one has done before. These planets are procedurally generated on the blockchain. Typically, in all other games, you just generate a hash and then the front end visualizes this hash somehow. We thought in the end that means there is just consensus reached on the visualization of a hash through using the same front end. What we do is the underlying mesh of this planet is procedurally generated on the blockchain. The smart contract itself creates this mesh. Just as an example of things that we do that others don't, not yet. When it comes to user experience, one thing is the way we connect to the blockchain via streaming and subscriptions and notifications. Any interaction in the game that changes the game state, if I press on repair in a few seconds, it goes through the blockchain, it's validated by the node, Diffuse catches and processes it, notifies the client, and then it's visualized. You would see that quite fast after I press the button. And you can see in the top left that the transaction ID is occurring. I'm pressing now. And it already happened. So
Yeah.
This is what we call seamless user experience. It's a bit slower currently because I'm in this stream and it consumes a lot of my bandwidth. But this is where we see gaming on EOS in the future.
And this is our Iron Forge, right?
Yeah, this is from our upcoming game, Liquid Universe. This is an Iron Forge. I can claim this.
And this will be the first of our first asset will be what we're showing right here to you. So you guys are getting the first peek into what will be coming soon.
Yeah.
And everything in this game is an NFT. You can trade it, you can lend it for downtime, or you can sell it in the marketplace. So every single thing is an NFT here.
And I mean, for people out there who might not know about Diffuse, like it's a really powerful thing that's being used. So like if you guys are using that, like that's impressive. I remember like, sitting in on a couple how to AMAs a couple years ago, like and that like that stuff is like next level when it comes to like blockchain development. So
Diffuse,
it's pretty cool.
Diffuse is the non plus ultra. But we will also propose another streaming solution soon, because Diffuse comes with a lot of overhead. It's super expensive to host, and we think there's need for a streaming solution which is less history and more high performance streaming. The way that most of the dApps and games today are built, from an architectural perspective, is not really clever when it comes to games and low latency apps. Typically, they make several requests per second to kind of read or request the whole table state from the blockchain, to then make a diff to get the differences and then to visualize changes, which leads into a lot of overhead because you're doing these requests all the time. And working with a streaming solution where you just receive a notification if something changed is a lot faster. It's a lot less resource consuming. So we will potentially propose a solution for this soon.
So as far as Pomelo is concerned, then like you're going to use obviously some of these funds to better enhance the game, better develop it, better like create plugins and things like that. But you guys are also doing something different, and I think this is where the aspect of like enhancing the whole EOS.io ecosystem comes into play. Doing something called the Liquid Bible.
Yes.
And so this is actually going to be obviously beneficial to you and your game, but it's also going to be beneficial to the rest of the community, because like once that's developed, other people are going to be able to basically use it. So do you want to maybe dive into that a little bit? Like what is the Liquid Bible, and how does it kind of connect to your game, and more importantly, the broader EOS.io ecosystem?
Absolutely. So these tools we make for gaming, it's specifically on the blockchain. It's to democratize it, right, and to bring these new thoughts in place. And Corbin has been discussing, like, we want to put this Bible, which is known officially as the Git book. And so we have lots of documentation to mentor all the people who have been working with us. And so this is why we like to share everything. And can you maybe, Corbin, go over like what tools you used already, the SDKs that you saw that are in this game? I think all of them are, right?
We are using most of our own SDKs. Yeah. First of all, I wouldn't say that the Liquid Bible and the proposal will benefit the game. The game is already kind of funded, and we clearly don't want to spend Pomelo money on the game. We are here because we want to drive back value to the community, not to us.
Right. It's for the Bible.
I'm super clear. It's, as I said, we want to take all the knowledge that we already have and that everything we learned over the last years and put it into something digestible for the traditional or blockchain game developer. We have these plugins, and every week, a few times a week, people are messaging me. They are asking, where can I find information about this or that plugin? Even while we are not that known, they are asking for it, and we need a source where people can self-educate. That's one thing. Depending on how much money, how much funding we will receive in Pomelo, through Pomelo, we would potentially also like to go out to traditional game game development communities, like the Unity community of different countries and different gaming areas, and host public meetings or public like sessions, workshops where we can teach them
exactly.
How to integrate EOS into their games.
And why they should use it, why it's the best solution compared to what's out there. Yeah. So there's a few.
I think that's a really good point, right? Like there's a lot of games out there. One of my favorite platforms right now, definitely by far, and they're kind of still unknown to the broader crypto space, is EOS Ultra, right? They're doing some really interesting things with EOS.io technology. But like even Wax, right? Like we were talking to friends of ours and like people still haven't figured out about Wax really. And that's after a giant pump last week, right? Like people were still at the NYC NFT conference and they're still oblivious to Wax, right? And so, and these are crypto people, right? Like these are crypto people. So when you branch out beyond into the traditional world of gaming, that like they probably they might have heard of Ethereum, but they really think Bitcoin is synonymous with it, and they don't understand the technology. They don't understand any of it. Like, I think that's going to be huge, right? When you can get to a point where you can onboard existing games into the cryptoverse, that's when the whole user base like clicks and it all changes, right? And I mean, like with the Uplift World, sorry, shameless plug, with definitely relevance here, but with the Uplift World, in that sense, we were very lucky because like basically we just used Minecraft as a base layer for the metaverse, right? And so you have all of this built, and I think like that's kind of what you guys are aiming to do in the long run, right? You're aiming to take this technology that you built and you're going to allow other pre-existing games to potentially plug into it and utilize the EOS.io technology to be able to put that game on the blockchain and B, utilize the power of NFTs, the power of ownership, and all of those things. Is that kind of the correct assumption? I kind of glazed over a lot of things in the process there, but
it's close. And that's why also we use Unity, because it's a very well-known game engine, and 80% of the games are built in it. We built on Wax because obviously it is the perfect fit for gaming. It's affordable. There's not a high buy-in, which I'm sure if you don't know what I'm talking about, just try and build a game on Ethereum. So, right? Yeah, we don't want people to pay $2,000 to play our game.
We haven't mentioned that we are top 21 on Wax, right? Yeah. We are active blog producer on Wax for like 7 months. We never missed a blog, so just as a side note.
Yeah, exactly. And then
one
of our SEOs. Sorry, go ahead.
This is Pomelo is clearly on EOS, and we are clearly into EOS.
Actually, no. Here's interesting, because I missed this too, and I didn't realize this, and a lot of people out there I think don't realize this. So if you go back and you watch back, the interview that I did with Daniel Keys, right? This is the first round of Pomelo, and it's funded basically by the EOS Network Foundation. And so I was under the assumption that it's clearly on EOS as well. But what Daniel Keys said actually is the whole point of Pomelo is to have proposals that create value for the entire EOS.io ecosystem. Now, he said because of the state of EOS right now, probably the people are going to be looking at EOS kind of like, with a little bit of preference, because, we've been in such a lull for so long. But I mean, if it's any EOS.io chain that's bringing benefit to the entire EOS.io space, I really hope I heard that right. And it's on the interview. You can go listen to it back and tell me I'm wrong. But if it's any of these chains, it could be Wax, it could be Ultra, it could be Telos, it could be any of these, that it's 100% okay to be Pomelo. So I just want people to understand this, right? Like, just because it's on Wax doesn't mean it doesn't apply. And it might even apply even more so, because if you go back to what Yves LaRose was talking about, and some of these other people were talking about, like, it's high time that these chains start connecting again, right? Like, they were developed as an ecosystem to connect, and the segregation of the chains has actually hurt us more than anything. So like, I just really want people to understand that this isn't for EOS. This isn't going to make EOS great again and bury all the other chains. The whole point is to like get this funding out out there so that EOS.io can win as a whole, right? Like whether you're on Wax or whether there's, So sorry for my little rant there, but I just wanted to clear
No,
that
I
up.
totally
So apologies.
totally agree. It's sister chains.
Absolutely.
It's called sister chains for a reason. So, right.
Yeah, and we will potentially release all our games on multiple EOS.io chains. I mean, it's very common that you in this space have specific enthusiasm for specific projects and protocols, but a game developer going out there and saying, "Hey, I will only release my game on Xbox, or I will only release it on PlayStation," that doesn't make sense. That
No,
would be,
or only for the phone.
pretty stupid.
Right.
So yeah, I think what we are doing in general is chain agnostic. We are building on chains that allow us to build this kind of game,
right,
and this kind of SDKs and plugins, and we will continue to do so. And for those sitting there now and saying, "Hey, these guys are building on Wax, I will not donate, I don't like that," everything that we did so far was mostly funded by the Wax blockchain.
Yeah.
I just find it fair to mention that.
No, and I think that's a really key point. And like if anyone, I've got your back on that, because like there was funding there from the early days, right? There wasn't in EOS, right? It might have been different, and I mean that's why I'm excited about Pomelo and some of these other things that are happening, because now there's funding on both. So like now we can get more funding, right? Like we can get more players. So but yeah, so just to bring this up, right? Like the initial development might have taken place with Wax funding, and that's great. But the Liquid Bible is a single platform for game developers, full of educational content like tutorials and examples, smart contract development, and integrations to give every game developer out there an easy to use guide from start to finish. So
exactly,
A to Z. The grants will mainly be used for the creation of this. So I mean, it's I guess an easy way to simplify it would be it's a living, usable document, right? Like people can plug into it, people can utilize it. I just want to ask: is the code open source, or is it more like a plug? Is it more like a plug and play module type of system?
It's all open source already. These plugins are separated, so we currently have like 12 or 13 different repositories in our GitHub repository. If you are waiting in our internal private repositories, because we have to document them first, we have to clean them up before we publish them. We don't want to publish dirty, uncommented, undocumented code. But yeah, sure, it's all public and open source, free of charge, and it will continue to be so. Same for the Liquid Bible. And in addition to our plugins, I have an interesting story. We were looking for developers and external developers over the last 1.5 years, quite often, to extend the team, to get additional manpower, which we can work with. And every single time when we showed them what we are building and how seamless it is and how fast data is loaded, and from a user experience and from side and from the functionality we integrate into our games directly connected to the blockchain, every of these game developers or game development companies at the end of the call or at the next day was asking us where they can find our tools, because they want to start, even without working with us, they wanted to start
making their own games,
to do the same. They wanted to build, they wanted to be able to build the same form of user experience while using blockchain. So I'm pretty sure many of the developers out there, the game developers, are already trying to educate themselves, and they are trying to find ways into the space. But typically, if you start with development on Ethereum, nothing against Ethereum, but it's just horrible. You can't build real games on Ethereum. It's just, don't do that.
We're talking like collectibles, we like strategy, like actual games, like game of fun. Yeah, you can actually
any
have some
any game developer who really wants to build a game, and not just a collectible or gamified DeFi, but a game with a target group of gamers, people who want to play.
You can join fellowships, you can battle each other. Yeah.
we believe EOS.io is absolutely the right choice.
And I mean, I think that there's something to be said for this proposal as well, because like, again, marketing goes a long way. And like, so
Yeah.
when people realize that you can do this, right, that it's not a slug that's, you know, a turtle crossing the road that like stops all traffic on a major highway. Like, you know, it doesn't take, like, can you imagine if you had to wait? I mean, I guess it would kind of be a fun, interesting aspect if you had to wait 45 minutes to fix that factory that you were fixing before. Because I mean, it really would take time in real life. But then, of course, also you have to pay a $40 transaction fee because like you're using something like Ethereum and like so like.
Right.
I mean, yes, there are second layer solutions out there that you do it, but you know, EOS.io, it's a native blockchain, right? Like it doesn't matter whether you're on Wax or whether you're on EOS; they're both basically native blockchains.
Yeah.
And so that's the thing, right? Like we want to be able to bring this technology to the world, and I think, you know, collectibles, DeFi, and gaming are going to be the big three that gets the rest of the world involved, right? Like they're not going to care so much.
We will do all three.
We don't care about the technology behind it. We want to make
Right.
fast.
Right. Yeah. So totally.
Exactly.
All right. Well, very cool. Yeah. So I want to. I'm going to do this off air as well, but you guys have got to come on the Uplifters and we got to dive more into this game because this is really cool. I want to see more of those screens on action. So hopefully, if you're listening to this, you know, definitely join the Twitter channels below for Liquid. Go look at
We're doing a demo as well soon. So if you want to join the demo, ping us on Twitter and we'll like I'll let you in.
Very cool. All right. Yeah, I like it. Sweet. And yeah, so in terms of the Pomelo proposal, is there anything that we might have missed or anything that you want to shout out? Like, again, this is quadratic funding. So
yeah,
if you have one or two spare EOS that you can donate, it goes a long way. You know, the matching engine is pretty good.
I mean, we need a big budget. We were just off call with Unity, who's going to promote the game if we follow the right. And they said, you guys need a ginormous budget. And I thought it was maybe 100,000. They go, no, you at least 500,000 if you want to promote this game properly. At least I was like, oh God. So it is about really making the tools, and we don't believe in competition. The more gamers out there that use our tools, the better. Right. So just bring it on. We were ready. And Icon, we're going to be doing an SDK for them, and maybe Corvin can go explain that for like 2 seconds. It's something that will make the game.
It's again for seamless user experience. It's seamless onboarding of gamers, just similar to the Wax Cloud Wallet, but on EOS, on Wax, on any other EOS.io based chain where they will deploy it. You will be able to log in with an OAuth account. We will potentially build some form of identity layer on top of it. It will make the how do you say that? The registration process of new users a lot easier.
You use your social media handle and log into the game. You don't have to look at that key. So that's something we want to do. Make it as match what people know a AAA game to be. They just don't. It's just running on blockchain. Yeah.
And I mean, potentially multiple social user logins for multiple games if everything goes the way that it should in the future, right? Exactly. Like it's basically like an Apple, an Apple account, something like that, where you know you can log into any game from Microsoft or any game from Unity or any game from this stuff, right? So
yeah.
Right, very cool. Definitely, I dropped it in the comments aside, but. And do I'd love to chat a little bit more with you guys. So if you hang around after the stream, we can do that. But yeah, definitely, that's great for having you. I'm really excited. We're gonna wrap this up. As I said, I'm gonna try to not be Jimmy D for these and keep them short and sweet so that you guys can get all the information here quickly. I will be back tomorrow. Well, depending upon where you are today. But I will be back tomorrow my time because it is evening with EOS Costa Rica, they've got another Pomelo proposal up that is looking at rating block producers. And it's a tool that they're going to build to look at like community rating of block producers, which is pretty cool. So definitely, if you're around, sign into that. And we'll see you guys all on the next episode of Pomelo Pitch Deck. And thank you, Chang and Corvin.
Thank you.
Very nice proposal of EOS Costa Rica. You will be able to vote for us on this tool soon. That's
Yes, exactly.
Nice.
All right.
Yeah. Thank you for having us, Jimmy.
Thank you for having us.
And
Thank you.
see you soon.
Night, everyone.
Bye.